Good afternoon, members of Congress. My name is David LeBahn. I'm the President and CEO of the Association of Prosecuting Attorneys. We're a nonprofit national organization comprised of both elected and appointed prosecutors, and we have members that are both the county, the city, the state, and the federal level. We are the only organization nationally to have all of those. I'm honored to be here on the panel and be in front of you. I think what's most important is the testimony that you've already heard. These are all deaths that are preventable and could have been preventable. Why we do not have a statute in place that is very clear on its face that says you shall not be involved in giving weapons to those that are precluded, my membership cannot figure out. It cannot be reinforced better than what has already been talked about. On behalf of the Association of Prosecuting Attorneys, I'm here to offer our assistance underway here in Congress. Mr. Ranking Member, about a year and a half, a member of your staff approached my organization and asked about trafficking. There was a lot of discussion at that point about what is weapons trafficking, and it was shocking to go back to the membership and be told that there is no crime. There is no weapons, there is no federal violation for weapons trafficking. And weapons trafficking certainly includes the straw purchasing that's discussed here today. We, on behalf of prosecutors, feel it's incredibly important to have something that is specific and on the books. What has already been discussed by this panel is discussion of things like paper violations. I submit to all of you, this is not a paper violation. This is the transfer of a weapon by someone who cannot have it and is legally precluded from having it to get it. There's no one more dangerous on the street than someone who cannot have a weapon, who wants to get it and gets it by this unlawful means. According to the Bureau of Justice statistics, 40% of the firearms that criminals use they get it from friends and family. Another 40% they get it off the street. And this specific legislation will certainly both deter, as was discussed earlier, as well as punish those that choose, as was the example from Montgomery County, where an individual knew that that person was going to kill a cop, was going to kill a police officer. Other things that I have placed in the statement are things like Columbine. Columbine is another example. Those were minors involved in that case. The woman that bought the guns for those folks to do that slaughter, same way, could not be prosecuted. Several states have done things towards the straw purchasing. Congresswoman Spear pointed out that California is one of them that has been legal. California also happens to be my home state. California, Colorado, Delaware, Illinois, Maryland, Nebraska, Ohio, and Oregon. Most recently, as a result, and has been discussed, Pennsylvania also has worked towards their statute. Also to reinforce is not only were there 9 weapons purchased in the straw purchasing of that particular killing of Officer Fox, but the individual involved was also a suspect in a domestic violence homicide. So, and Congresswoman Spear, you talked about the issue of sexual violence and folks with weapons in killing. Domestic violence and restraining orders is another area that's very common to do the straw purchasing. What is more dangerous than an individual that has a restraining order because of the Domestic Violence Act and wants to go ahead and get a weapon? Although more states are beginning to address the issue of gun trafficking and straw purchasing, without a dedicated federal statute, offenders will continue to find loopholes, and firearms will end up in the hands of dangerous individuals without anybody being held accountable. I thank all of you for your interest. Again, I'm honored to be here on the panel. The testimony that has been presented to you cannot be more graphic. It cannot be more of a reason as to why it is time to act. Further, I've had a little over 25 years experience, 10 as a local prosecutor in 2 different communities in California, and have personally handled both gang violence, have been on task forces, including the federal authorities, including the ATF. This is the time to make sure that we have a national standard that is crystal clear for the frontline law enforcement, crystal clear for the prosecutors that I represent, the defense, the courts, and the judges and juries. So thank you very much, and I certainly hope that this legislation goes forward.